the Monday Report with Trevor Ombija.
That's absolutely right. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Monday Report just in time for the latest here. And later on, you must have noticed earlier on today that there was a bit of a standoff in the Matatu industry. Some of them decided to down their tools and strike and block some roads. So we'll find out from them what really is the problem. There's a faction that doesn't agree with that strike. As far as we know, on Monday, the strike is on again. Kevin Mubadi will be here. He's the National Executive Chair, Boda Safety Association of Kenya. They are accused of harassing motorists and Matatu specifically in the event of an accident. They go to the extent of burning those vehicles. That is the reason why the strike was on. Kushian Mushiri is the CEO Federation of Public Transport Sector and also the Chair Association of Matatu Transport Owners. We speak to them what they think should be the solution going forward. Wilfred Bosire is the SG Mass Mobility Operators Association. And last but not least is Boniface Otieno. Boniface Otieno is the Senior Superintendent of Police, Road Safety Liaison Officer from the Kenya Police Service. We'll speak to them about how come they haven't arrested the rogue boarders who burn people's vehicles because of an accident. Send in your views as well at Trevor Ombija, at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Citizen Monday Report. But Emmanuel ND is also here, at Emmanuel ND. What's going on in the world of sports?
Yes, good evening. It's good to be with you here tonight. A lot going on in sports. Actually, we've got an update in the Kenya Premier League, as we often do. We also have reactions from yesterday's thriller at the Australian Open. Carlos Alcaraz managed to become the youngest Grand Slam winner, the career Grand Slam winner. So there's a lot to get into.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that, Emmanuel.
Absolutely.
See you in just a bit. But first, our top stories tonight.
Already, if you're earning from 33,000, you pay 30%. 33,000 going up, you pay 30%.
Cushioning low-income earners. Government proposes to shield over 1.5 million employed Kenyans earning below 30,000 from pay-as-you-earn tax.
We are not going to look for less. Lakini Deputy President, usifikiria ya kwamba tunataka kiti yako, tunataka kukufukuza.
Giving up the running mate slot. Oburu declares ODM will not seek Deputy President in power-sharing talks with UDA.
We do not have enough textbooks. The government has sent only for textbooks.
Delayed learning in senior schools as head teachers decry delays in the disbursement of textbooks. Temporary reprieve for commuters. Matatu operators call off strike until Monday after causing disruptions in parts of Nairobi. Thank you so much for tuning in. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Yula Nzale. We begin the bulletin with proposals that could finally give relief to employed Kenyans. Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi has revealed plans by the government to ease financial pressure on Kenyan workers by revising the pay-as-you-earn tax downwards. Under the proposal, about 1.5 million low-income earners earning 30,000 shillings and below will not be subjected to pay-as-you-earn tax, while the majority of workers who are currently paying 30% will have their tax bracket lowered to 25% should the proposal become law. Stephen Leto has more.
Kenyan workers have been reeling under a heavy tax burden. This includes a high pay-as-you-earn of up to 35%, 1.5% of affordable housing levy, and rising NSSF contributions, whose new rates comes into force this February, significantly reducing employees' disposable income. Ease this strain, the Treasury is proposing tax relief for those earning below 30,000 shillings amid calls for a more equitable tax system. To effect this, the National Treasury says it has formulated changes to the tax laws by presenting a tax amendment bill, dubbed Pay Tax Exempt Bill, to be presented to Cabinet for approval before being tabled before Parliament as soon as it resumes. Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi says President William Ruto and his administration have resolved to remove over 1.5 million Kenyans from the pay tax bracket. In the current taxation, Kenyans earning a maximum of 24,000 Kenyan shillings are subjected to a pay of 10%, while those earning between 24,000 shillings and 32,800 shillings are currently paying 25% of their salaries as pay as you earn. Similarly, Kenyans earning above 32,800 shillings to half a million shillings are paying 30% in the tax bracket, while those earning 700,000 shillings and above are subjected to a 35% pay tax. Buddy's new proposals that he has termed the real bottom-up include having those earning a maximum of 24,000 shillings removed completely from the pay tax bracket. Those earning 32,800 shillings and below, according to Mbadi, will also pay zero.
Anyone who is earning 30,000 and below in Kenya should not pay as you earn. You pay zero.
The Treasury Cabinet Secretary further says those earning up to 50,000 shillings will now pay 25% payee, down from 30%.
Between 30,000 and 50,000. So you only pay 25%. We reduce that by 5%. So those who are earning 50,000, first you will benefit because your first 30,000, you pay zero. Then the next 20,000, you pay 25%.
This new turnaround by government seeks to ease burden mainly for 1.5 million Kenyans, while the country's low-income earners taking home 30,000 Kenyan shillings and below.
We have agreed with His Excellency the President. He has directed me to take to Parliament a proposal. I'm not even waiting for finance bill to come in June. I am taking tax laws amendment bill to Parliament. Once Parliament resumes, we are preparing that bill, take to them to approve.
But he says his ministry is not looking at the lost revenue that will be occasioned by the review, but cautioning the bottom of the pyramid will also inject back the money into the economy through local purchasing. Stephen Letos, Citizen TV.
Now, Bungoma County government spent 3.6 million to light up a Christmas tree in September 2019, sparking concerns over wastage and corruption across the counties. The Senate County Public Accounts Committee has also flagged Masinde Muliro Stadium, claimed to be 95% complete, yet it's showing serious infrastructural defects. Emmanuel To has the details.
Public Service Management. Bungoma County government is making headlines again. This time round, it's a controversial Christmas tree lighting ceremony that gobbled up over 3.6 million shillings back in 2019.
Using 3.6 million for Christmas tree celebration in September, and the money remains unaccounted for. You see, that's the worst thing. If the money was drawn in September, used, the Christmas tree lit up and surrendered, it would not be before us. You will see that that imprest is being taken on the 9th of September, a whole 3 months before Christmas. These are some of the things that happen in these counties that make many of us worry.
The members of the Senate County Public Accounts Committee are questioning the timelines of the requisition, which they say point to cover-ups and channels used to loot public funds.
We know December is the Christmas, or maybe Bungoma has a unique way of celebrating Christmas. Maybe their Christmas came early, but these
in Ethiopia, the new year was in our November, so maybe they're using the Ethiopian calendar.
Maybe they're using the Ethiopian calendar.
It was a very ceremonial function where people had Christmas hats and with some good tents. And they were jumping like nursery school children.
Bungoma Governor Ken Lusaka, who distanced himself from the audit query, promising to pursue those responsible for the scandal.
Chair, just for the record, because I know media will say I am the one who has done that. It is 2019. Please, Chair, I also need protection. Because what is going on?
No, you are not under any threat, Governor.
Because, you know, you are dressing like, you know, it's me.
The narration was supposed to be a facilitation to Mbale benchmarking. If you look at paragraph...
You have given us court documents, Wakili, you know, parties are bound by their pleadings.
Yes,
this is what you are telling the magistrate's court in Bungoma at paragraph 5. How can the county attorney be wiser? than the chief officer, who is a custodian of all these records.
The senators have called out massive wastage and theft in the county governments, urging investigating agencies to arrest and prosecute those responsible.
This is a matter that is unethical. This is a matter that must be escalated to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission.
This came even as the senators also put the county government on the spot over the delay in the completion of the Masinde Muliro Stadium. An audit inspection conducted in July 2025 revealed that works had been stalled for over a year, with a contractor nowhere to be found on site. The external fence also showed serious structural defects. A section facing the VIP entrance is also reported to have been bending outwards, creating a large gap between the fence and the ground. Emmanuel Toh, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Let's talk about some politics now. An Orange Democratic Movement, that's ODM party leader Oburu Oginga, has indicated that the party will not demand the position of president or deputy president in its power-sharing talks with the United Democratic Alliance, that's a UDA. While seeking endorsement from the Nyanza voting bloc ahead of the pre-election negotiations, Oginga and President William Ruto emphasized that the discussions will focus on advancing the UDA-ODM prosperity agenda. Seth Olale has more.
President William Ruto and ODM party leader Oburu Oginga at Jomo Kenyatta Stadium in Kisumu during disbursement of 220 million business startup capital disbursement to more than 8,000 youth. The two using the stage to seek approval from Nyanza voting bloc. Leaders from the two political divide outlining to ODM supporters why the pre-election pact.
Ati sasa watu waende maandamano, sisi tunawaambia we are not boarding. Tuko pamoja, mbele tunaenda, nyuma turudi, Nyasaye mono gwedu, anamor kodu. Tulikuwa UDA, but with the ODM family, the country is stronger, the country is more stable.
In what appears to be a relief for Deputy President Kithure Kindiki, the Orange Party leader Oburu Oginga announced that the party will not be seeking the Deputy President's seat during the ongoing pre-election coalition talks with UDA.
We are not going to look for less. Lakini Deputy President, usifikiria ya kwamba tunataka kiti yako, tunataka kukufukuza. Please, you are our friend, but as we negotiate, we are going to negotiate what our people deserve.
The ODM party leader stating that the Orange Party is seeking for more cabinet slots other than its current 4 dockets in treasury, energy, mining and MSMEs.
We are not going to take anybody's share. We are only going to make sure that everybody gets their fair share in the national cake.
President Ruto pledged to cooperate fully during the talks.
We are transforming this nation one step at a time. Na mambo itabadilika, Kenya itabadilika, na tutasonga mbele kwa pamoja.
The UDA and ODM party leaders dismissing the united opposition as an outfit lacking agenda and alternative to better governance.
The rudderless, the leaderless, the agendaless, the planless opposition, that you are an opposition without alternative.
I don't see them campaigning anywhere. They are just in one region, in one area. Ndio wanazunguka hapo, lakini rais anazunguka kila mahali Kenya.
The ODM and UDA leaders pledging to advance the broad-based agenda into a formidable force seeking to reclaim power through the 2027 general election. Seth Olale, Citizen TV.
Now, transport in Nairobi was disrupted for the better part of Monday morning after a section of public service vehicle operators staged a strike, bringing services to a halt in parts of the city. The strike left hundreds of commuters stranded as PSV operators parked vehicles along major routes to block traffic flow. The disruption came amid conflicting positions among the operators over whether the strike was to proceed or not. The strike was later called off and normalcy resumed. Citizen TV's Ben Kirui was there.
Early morning Monday, commuters in Nairobi were forced to walk to work during the peak morning rush hour, as a section of Matatu operators withdrew services, partly disrupting transport services within parts of Nairobi. Within the CBD, striking operators parked their vehicles across major roads and streets, prompting police officers to intervene to restore order. Several PSV vehicles were impounded, with number plates removed and others towed away as authorities moved to ease congestion.
There are a lot of vehicles who are detained from various circles. The one that they found on the road protesting, they have detained various circles and they are demanding for their release.
Long queues formed at bus stops across the city, as many PSV operators heeded the call to suspend services, leaving hundreds of commuters stranded.
Today was the first day, and we thank God. So far, so good. We just wanted to let our fellow operators understand that we have done it, and we shall do it. Next Monday, we are coming for in a better way.
We had a strike today, which is going to continue every Monday if the government is not going to listen to our grievances.
The Matatu operators had on January 28th announced plans for a nationwide strike to protest the alleged torching of their vehicles by boda operators. They accused the government of failing to address what they described as growing hostility and insecurity targeting public transport operators. According to the operators, several vehicles, including private cars and passenger service vehicles, have been destroyed in attacks attributed to boda operators.
Na hii mgomo sio ati ni kuhusu matatu, ni kuhusu gari zote Kenya mzima zile kwa sababu mkiangalia haswa hizo gari zimechomeka, sio matatu peke yake. Kuna maturera zimechomwa, kuna personal zimechomwa.
Hooliganism within the boda sector who are banning our vehicles, all of them must be arrested. And all the vehicles which have been banned, they must be compensated by the government.
Some major circles, however, defied the call and continued with the normal operations, offering relief to commuters. Most other major towns reported normalcy with services continuing uninterrupted. Ben Kiroi, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Let's talk about education matters now. And learning in most senior schools across the country is yet to begin due to delays in the distribution of textbooks. While the government maintains that all schools will receive the books by mid-February, school heads are warning that continued shortages could force teachers back to lecture-style teaching, similar to the 844 system, where lessons relied on dictated notes for learners without textbooks. Under the competency-based education system, learning is meant to be learner-centered and practical. As Emily Chebet now reports, principals say without adequate materials, that vision risks being undermined.
Almost a month after learners of the pioneer class under the competency-based education system reported to senior schools, learning is yet to fully take off in most public institutions across the country. The delay has been attributed not only to slow reporting by some learners facing financial challenges, but also to a shortage of textbooks in schools.
The government has sent only 4 textbooks. That is a few for physics, few for ICT, a few for English, and a few for French. We are offering 13 subjects, which I call learning areas nowadays. So we have had to start by purchasing 1 textbook per subject for the teacher only.
Citizen TV spoke to several school principals who expressed frustration over the prolonged wait to begin implementing the new curriculum, noting that the competency-based education system requires more time and preparation compared to previous models.
Most of the content is about activities, and it becomes difficult for the teacher to teach and then write the activity on the board. So we wish that the government hurries up and brings the remaining textbooks for the students.
Schools such as Kiptorgogo, a C4 institution in Kericho County, which has received nearly 50% of the required textbooks, are still grappling with low learner turnout. The school, which was expecting about 45 learners, has so far admitted only 5, 4 of them arriving through the ongoing mop-up exercise being conducted by local chiefs. Litain Boys High School, also in Kericho County, continues to receive learners nearly a month after reporting began, a situation that has delayed the official commencement of learning.
In our school, we've
admitted 379 grade 10 out of the 500 learners whom we expected. That translates to 76%. Yalitain High School, being a national school, a C1 school, still has capacity to absorb more grade 10 students.
According to Mr. Ochieng, the school admitted a needy learner as recent as last Friday. He is now urging parents who still have learners at home to ensure they report immediately to allow for a smooth rollout of the curriculum.
Teaching of the grade 10 has started at Litain High School. We started with the common courses, and right now we are working on the timetable, the comprehensive one. It is done by my DOS.
A few schools that have started learning are only limited to common learning areas such as English, mathematics and Kiswahili as they await the delivery of additional textbooks. Emily Chebet, Citizen TV.
Now, standoff ensued at Njoro Girls High School in Nakuru on Monday after irate residents there staged protest over the death of a Form 4 student under unclear circumstances. The family of Brenda Akinyi claimed that their daughter died of neglect as she allegedly did not get timely assistance from the administration. The girl died at Nakuru Teaching and Referral Hospital, as Miriam Nyambura reports.
A cat and mouse game ensued between police and residents at Njoro Girls High School in Nakuru on Monday afternoon. Residents and some parents had gathered to protest the death of a Form 4 student, Brenda Akinyi, under unclear circumstances on Friday. The family says they were not notified about her illness on time, putting Brenda's life at risk. This despite living a few meters from the school.
Nilitiwa kazi, kufika kwa shule naambiwa na rafiki zake, dada yako ni mgonjwa. Kwenda kuuliza nani anajua mtoto ni mgonjwa? Nasa anajua, anajua. Deputy anajua, anajua. Matron anajua, anajua. Na mbona hajapiga home simu? Ati sijui alikuwa anapewa treatment. Mtoto anakuwa mgonjwa siku 3 hakuli mnampea brufen.
At Brenda's family home, Millicent Anyango mourns the death of her 18-year-old daughter. The family blames the school administration for delaying medical attention.
Daktari akamuuliza maswali, mtoto alianza kugonjeka lini na ulimpea dawa gani? Akasema mtoto aliblame kichwa kidogo na nikaweza kumpea brufen. Na hiyo brufen, na hiyo ndio nilikuwa nataka mpaka hapo kesho sasa akizidiwa ndio nitie mamake.
Other parents who joined the protests say this is not an isolated case, that 3 students had died in unclear circumstances in 2023.
Walichelewa kunipigia niende nichukue mtoto, nipeleke wapi? OC. Sasa baka hapo singejua nini inaendelea, unaona? Sasa mimi wanishike tu, wanisaidie kufanya hiyo postmortem, tujue mtoto ako nini, hata nijue nini, hata rudi na tusikisajua ukweli iko wapi, mtoto aende azikwe apumzike.
However, Nakuru County Education Director has dismissed the claims, stating that school records indicate that Brenda Akinyi was a sickly child. An autopsy will be conducted on Tuesday to ascertain the cause of death. Miriam Nyambura, Citizen TV.
From that unfortunate news, over 8,000 young entrepreneurs from Kisumu, Siaya and Homa Bay counties benefited from a 220 million shillings grant from the government under the National Youth Opportunities Towards Advancement (NYOTA) Fund. Speaking in Kisumu County during the disbursement of the first batch of the funds to the selected beneficiaries, President William Ruto affirmed that his government's agenda on youth empowerment is solid. Ruto promised the youth access to government procurement opportunities, warning them against being duped by selfish cartels. Meanwhile, a new poll by Infotrack research firm has revealed that while 78% of Kenyans are aware of the NYOTA Fund program, only 36% have benefited from it. More than half of Kenyans, 52%, are yet to benefit. Safina Chienguma has more.
President William Ruto was in the lakeside city of Kisumu on Monday to advance his administration's mission to illuminate the star of thousands of youths in the region. Speaking at the Jomo Kenyatta Stadium, the head of state made a case for the Nyota Fund program, promising training to about 6,000 youths on accessing government opportunities.
Tuko na 30% procurement under our access to government procurement opportunities. Mimi nataka niwaeleze vijana wa Kenya, wasikubali kutumika na wadosi. Ati wewe ni kijana, unatumiwa jina yako, inakuwa registered kwamba hii ni kampuni ya vijana, na hiyo biashara si yako.
The government disbursed approximately 220 million shillings Nyota business startup grants to over 8,800 young entrepreneurs from Kisumu, Siaya and Homa Bay counties.
Hii program ambayo haijali mahali umetoka, kabila umetoka, sehemu umetoka, program ambayo kila kijana wa Kenya akijituma anaweza kuingia kwa hii program.
Kwa jumla vijana 820,000, 820,000 young people will get support using this Nyota program.
We'll be linking you up to market access, how to access global market, how to brand your products, how to position your business very well so that it becomes more competitive.
The assurance coming at a time when a new poll by Infotrack research firm revealed that more than half of Kenyans have not benefited from the Nyota Fund program. According to a survey conducted on January 24, 2026, 78% of Kenyans said they know about the Nyota Fund, with only 20% saying that they do not know about it. However, despite a high level of awareness about the fund's existence, only 36% of Kenyans have participated in the program, either for training or as beneficiaries, while 52% have never participated. The opinion poll also showed a near equal split among Kenyans on eligibility criteria for the Nyota Fund, with 46% believing that it was fair and 44% found it unfair. And when asked whether the 50,000 shillings grant was enough to start a business, 77% agreed that it was enough, while 19% described it as a drop in the ocean.
2,000 tukiadd kwa 40, tulikuwa tumebudget nayo, tuanze no poultry.
The poll highlighted ongoing perceptions and challenges surrounding the administration of youth empowerment initiatives in Kenya, providing critical insights for policymakers seeking to ensure transparency, equity and effectiveness in programs like Nyota. Safina Chengoma, Citizen TV.
All right, on that note, we're taking a quick break here on Monday Report. We're back with much more in just a short while, so don't go too far. Government kicks off mass national ID registration targeting pastoralist communities aimed at ending marginalization. Thanks for staying with the Monday Report. Let's talk about politics now. And DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua says the opposition has embarked on an elaborate plan to have all unregistered voters in their strongholds, to do so to boost their numerical strength ahead of August next year general election. Gachagua, who led the united opposition to a church service and later Meet the People tour in Mathioya constituency in Murang'a County, assured their supporters that they will remain united to the ballot. Stephen Leto has more.
It was a busy Sunday for the united opposition, who all converged in Murang'a and Nyeri counties in a show of solidarity. DCP leader Rigathi Gachagua hosted the opposition leaders in Mathioya constituency, where they attended a church service at the ACK St. Mark's, Gitugi in Murang'a County. After the church service, the leaders held a Meet the People tour in the constituency, where they affirmed their unity. Gachagua rallied the Mount Kenya region to get set for the mass voter registration to boost their numbers ahead of the August next year general election.
In fact, our issue is only one, which we shall deal with Mother and JB. Registration of voters inaanza 29th of March. Nataka kuomba wazazi wote, make sure mtoto wako kama amefikisha 18 years, iyo registration inaletwa kwa polling station.
na tumesema tuchukueni kura. Ruto afanye nini? Chivayo wakuje, Kamago wakuje, Ruto sisi tutakupeleka nyumbani kwa kura zetu.
Gachagua chided President William Ruto to accept that the mountain vote had long gone.
He is president by the vote of this region, which gave him 47% of the vote. Hiyo kura imemwondokea. Na anajua hiyo kura ikimfukuza ikiwa imeshikana atakuwa sogoi saa mbili.
Ukijipiga kifua kusema utashinda na kura 2 milioni 3. And you know the truth, as Fred has said. The truth is, as we speak now, William Ruto has no chance of second term.
Na hatutaruhusu Ruto kuvunja katiba na kuendelea kama nchi ambayo haina katiba. Kenya sio dictatorship, it's a democracy. Nilimsikia akisema ati nchi zile zinafaulu ni za madikteta. Mimi namuelezea enda utafute nchi ya dikteta uhamie huko.
The opposition leaders also accused the Kenya Kwanza administration of clawing back the gains made in the education sector.
Wanasemekana kina Kalonzo hawana akili, Rigiji hawana akili. Sasa wewe mimi nakuuliza, mtu ukiwa na akili, upewe serikali mahali watoto wanaenda shule. Kesho watoke shule hawaendi shule. Hiyo ndio akili kweli?
The united opposition stood their ground, insisting that they will not be party to an election where the current election technology provider Smartmatic is involved.
We will not accept the Venezuelan technology that has been discredited world over. Imetumika Uganda juzi, hizo Kim's kit failed.
Hapa tulivyo, victory is sure. The agenda is very clear.
Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka told the congregation that he departs to the United States for a 10-day tour to meet key government officials and build international allies for the Kenyan opposition with his shuttle diplomacy credentials. Stephen Letos, Citizen TV.
Still on politics, United Green Movement Party lead and presidential hopeful David Maraga has condemned the chaos witnessed at Witima ACK Church in Othaya, supporting calls for nationwide demonstrations to demand for accountability and action against the perpetrators. Speaking in Mombasa ahead of his Coast voter registration campaign, Maraga also hinted at joining the United Opposition Movement in their quest to defeat President William Ruto in the 2027 presidential poll. The former Chief Justice says that any leader has the freedom to worship anywhere, and all those who are involved should be dealt with.
Watu wanaenda kanisani kuomba, Waislamu munaenda msikitini kuomba, alafu mnatupiwa tia gasi. Hata kama iko mtu ambaye amupendani naye ameingia huko kwa ajili ya wale ambao wako huko. You are supposed to be restrained. Even I am sure even the policemen are trained that if you have to use your firearm and the person against whom you want to use your firearm is in the middle of other people, you don't shoot. You don't shoot. So those are among the things we want. I supported the demonstrations.
Now, the government has rolled out a mass national ID registration drive, starting with pastoralist communities in a bid to end marginalization and promote equity in service delivery. Interior National Administration Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, who launched the initiative in West Pokot County, says IDs will be ready for collection in just 3 days, as lengthy vetting processes have been scrapped to speed up registration. Kamau Mwangi has more.
After months of waiting, both young and old flocked to Kapenguria DCC's office to register for Kenya's most sought-after identification document, the National ID card, for anyone aged 18 and above. Among the crowd were Joseph Oletiba, 26, and Mary Nyagaki, 24. Both shared the long struggle they endured to obtain this vital identification, a challenge they say has been made even tougher by the strict verification procedures in Kenya's border counties.
Nikienda kwa ofisi naambiwa rudi kwa chief. Nikirudi kwa chief wananiambia hapana, rudi Kapenguria. Mimi nimetafuta ID hadi mikono niko nainua juu sasa.
Nimetoka like 3 years. Mara unatuma huku chini unaenda Kapenguria, utuma Huduma Center. Ni ngumu lakini lazima utapata tu.
Their struggle mirrors that of hundreds who turned up for the launch of the Usajili Mashinani national initiative by the Ministry of Interior. The program aims to help Kenyans in remote areas obtain national IDs, which the ministry says will support government planning and the implementation of public programs.
Nimetafuta kwa miaka mbili, na kwa hizi miaka mbili kitije imechangia sana, watu ni wengi. Alafu maafisa wa Huduma Center labda naweza kuwa ni mara nyingi wanaanza kazi kitu masaa 5 kuelekea hivyo, kufika lunch wanatuweka hivyo.
We are unable as a country to do proper planning in matters of health, matters of education, because of the absence of proper documentation. We also have people who are elders. As a result of lacking their IDs, they are unable to access payments, government payments, because they cannot be accounted for officially.
Interior and National Administration Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, who launched the registration, said the initiative will start with a 10-day rapid registration pilot in all pastoral counties. Registration officers have been instructed to ensure applicants receive their IDs within a record 3 to 7 days before the program is rolled out nationwide.
When the question of vetting was removed, the person who was given the responsibility of afanye hiyo kazi ya identification ni chiefs. Tunajua nyinyi kama machinery yetu ile iko kwa mashinani, hiyo mtatusaidia.
We have asked them to go to churches, to go to funerals, to go to arambes, to go to markets during these weekends, to give people a chance to get their IDs.
Kama Mwangi, Citizen TV.
And barely 24 hours after 6 people were killed in Turkana during ongoing skirmishes along the Turkana-West Pokot border, unknown assailants struck again on Monday, even as Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen held a meeting with security officials in the area. Speaking in Kainuk after meeting security chiefs, Murkomen warned that a special operation to disarm owners of illegal firearms along the volatile border is imminent. He added that the authorities already have the names of those responsible for the violence from both communities, including powerful politicians, and said that they must face the same pain they are inflicting on innocent residents there. So far, 9 people have been confirmed dead since January amid rising insecurity in the region.
As you have seen, there have been various attacks on both sides of the boundary, and it is perpetuated by criminals who are out there to cause fear among citizens. We are aware that some of these criminals have the support of some business people, some political actors, and those are the ones who are supplying ammunitions, inciting violence, and they are on both sides of the 2 counties, and they have been profiled. We know where they are. I just want to tell them that they should visit Baringo or Elgeyo Marakwet County, or the boundary between Elgeyo Marakwet and West Pokot, and see what happened a few months ago. In fact, I've been told that there was today an attack within Turkana itself, between 2 groups within Turkana itself. It's very shameful, apparently to show defiance when it comes to security operations here.
And after months of street protests, clinical officers will now enjoy better pay package after signing a collective bargaining agreement with all the 47 counties. Under the new deal, clinical officers will enjoy monthly salary increment of between 25% to 30%. The salary increment is backdated to July 2025. Under new package, the clinical officers will also enjoy an enhanced health risk allowance of up to 4,500 shillings. Counties also committed to employing more clinical officers. The deal, which was signed between the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers, that's KUCO, and the respective counties, is expected to bring harmony and delivery of service to Kenyans.
Officers, we are committed to continue supporting the county to function properly. And I think the challenges that has faced us, we attribute it to fragmented decision making, and we will encourage that the Council of Governors can anchor a system, a structured system under the Council of Governors that can handle the issues of the HR, so that at any time our decision making can be actually be able to help us avoid the industrial action that has been ongoing. If we have hurt anyone in this process, naomba mtusamehe. Na pia kwa wale ambao tumeumiza, naomba watusamehe.
You know, there is no socio-economic development without health, and there is no health without a motivated staff that feels that they are appreciated.
Number of counties have also said, well, for us, we will not be able to implement, because usually, even where there is a proposal at the national level, then it goes down to the counties for each county to negotiate according to their ability. So I'm actually not very comfortable with the signing that will be undertaken today, same as for our members, and that is why we will seek the clarifications before the exercise begins.
All right, on that note, let's take another quick break. We're back with some business news in just a short while. Sugar workers call off strike as government promises to release $1 billion in the next 2 weeks to settle salary arrears.
Business News brought to you by Safaricom Business.
With Lipa na M-Pesa, manage payments ni kwa rahisi. Join Safaricom Business today and power your progress.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's talk about some business now. Sugar factory workers have suspended their nationwide strike after the government agreed to start paying long-standing salary arrears and terminal benefits. The strike, which began on January 29th and affected Muhoroni, Nzoia, Sony and Chemelil sugar factories, was called off following talks between the government and the Kenya Union of Sugar Plantation and Allied Workers. Under the agreement, the government will release 1 billion shillings within 2 weeks to ease the workers' hardship, with the remaining 9.8 billion to be paid in phases through the supplementary budget and future allocations as well. So workers will return to duty immediately. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe says that the unpaid dues are the government's responsibility and not that of private millers leasing the factories.
We did have an agreement, and as a government, we did have obligations that we committed ourselves to, and I want to acknowledge that we have not lived up to those expectations. And for that, I personally apologize, because once you commit yourself to something, then it is only right that you do so. However, we have not done it, but it is not out of bad will that we have not done it. It is out of circumstances within the country. The country has certain challenges related to availability of funds and availability of money and fiscal space that exists in the country.
Since we are now engaging and talking, we'll ask our workers to go back to work so that they allow us to continue engaging as we finalize this discussion. So we wish that to state that the strike has been called off as we continue engaging to discuss on matters that affect them directly.
The Kenya Private Sector Alliance, that's KEPSA, is projecting that the Kenyan economy will expand to 4% in 2026, up from 3.9% in 2025, before edging slightly higher to 4.1% in 2027. The outlook is anchored on easing inflation in the country, stabilizing interest rates, and continued investment in renewable energy and infrastructure, which are helping to cushion the economy against global shocks. At the same time, the capital market is set to deepen even further, with NSE CEO Frank Mwiti expressing optimism over the prospects of the equity market. Jimmy Mbogo has more on this economic forecast.
The continued momentum of monetary easing cycle is expected to support consumption and investment in 2026. However, the recovery remains uneven, with high public debt levels, aggressive revenue mobilization measures, and frequent policy shifts emerging as major concerns for businesses in the country. This is according to the Kenya Private Sector Economic Outlook for 2026, which shows that the economy could expand by 4% this year, driven by capital-intensive infrastructure projects in the country.
But obviously there are those that are more, I would say, optimistic and say that, look, it can go up to 5%. Very rare that it'll actually exceed that 5%. Personally, I think we'll end up at maybe just about 4.2, 4.3% growth, GDP growth, and that again driven by some of the projects that I mentioned. So when the others talk about maybe a 5%, they are banking on many other sectors to drive that particular growth.
Experts remain concerned about decreasing household income owing to lower take-home pay.
I think for me the key driver would really be more from a tax perspective. When we talk about these additional levies, like you talked about the housing levy, SHA, NSSF now has gone up to about 6% of your basic. So those certain taxes then reduce your take home. And when they reduce your take home, it then sort of encourages, I would say, people to go to entrepreneurship as opposed to then getting formal employment.
But despite the challenges, the capital market is set to continue rallying in 2026, with the Nairobi Securities Exchange NSE Chief Executive Officer Frank Mwiti noting that the capital markets are emerging as a key catalyst for growth. He, however, cautioned that capital is increasingly selective.
Capital will increasingly reward scale and structure. If your business is not properly structured, properly governed, it's going to be difficult to access and sustain capital, whether from capital markets or the other sectors. Second, long-term funding will outperform short-term financing. Third, sustainability, infrastructure, and asset-backed finance will move from optional to decisive.
Sectorally, agriculture is set to continue recovering, while real estate, construction, transport and logistics are expected to continue driving growth. Jimmy Mbogo, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Now, tea farmers in Murang'a could soon earn more from the high-altitude tea as Kenya, France and Equity Bank step up efforts to secure geographical indication certification for the crop ahead of the Africa-France Summit. And the certification would legally link Murang'a tea's quality and flavor to its place of origin, protecting it from imitation and positioning it as a premium product in the global markets, much like champagne from France. For farmers, this could translate into better prices, stable demand and higher incomes without increasing the acreage. Now, the growing interest from global players, including French tea company, is an indicator of potential market opportunities for local farmers.
Kenyan tea can be like French champagne, a prime product if you protect it, if you register it, and if you constantly produce it for the upscale market, and then eventually you'll benefit from a premium.
And I was very privileged to be taken to Champagne. I've always thought Champagne is a brand, only to realize it is a village like Murang'a County. It's a region that grows champagne. And what they have done is to brand their products around the region. So you can't be able to access that unless you are in that region.
Once we brand Murang'a tea or Mount Kenya tea, whatever the name, we expect the farmers' earnings to go up. As Professor Macharia once said, Murang'a tea will not increase horizontally. We shall not plant more tea within this geography because we are at full capacity. What we can only do is to go vertically. That is, we think creatively of ways to increase the value without necessarily increasing the quantities.
Now, demand for Kenyan coffee continues to go up amid growing global shortage, with a report by the Agriculture and Food Authority showing that a kilo of coffee sold at 1,200 Kenya shillings at the Nairobi Coffee Exchange in December 2025. Now, Itek Coffee is one of the key players in the coffee sector in Kenya, as they specialize in roasting, grading, grinding, packing, brewing coffee, and even offering coffee courses. Edward Chrea tells us more in our Made in Kenya segment.
For a long time, Mbula Musau was disturbed that Kenyans did not consume as much coffee as others around the world. This pushed her to found Utake Coffee in 2016 to help Kenyans not only produce coffee, but also consume it the right way.
The idea came from a need to empower not only coffee consumers, but also producers in the country. Coffee has been part and parcel of Kenya's history. However, it's not consumed in the same way as it is outside of the world for various reasons, and that's the gap that Utake seeks to fill.
To fill this gap, Utake obtains the coffee from farmers in different parts of the country and from the Nairobi Coffee Exchange and roasts, grind, and package it for the local market.
Roasting is not transforming coffee from green to brown, as many people believe. It's a science as well as an art. So we look at flavor development even as the coffee changes from a raw form to a consumable form. We also grind it and label it.
Besides this, Utake Coffee has been certified to offer coffee courses and helps coffee growers with quality assessment.
We are educators, transformative roasters, and exporters. We do quality assessment. So farmers who want to know how their quality is in order to place it in international markets bring their coffees to our certified lab, where we assess it and give them reports that enable them negotiate and sell at competitive prices. We are certified to offer courses in barista and brewing, roasting, green grading for green coffee, as well as sensory skills. Since Utake started, we have internationally certified over 1,000 Q graders, and we've held over 100 courses.
Utake Coffee now exports some of its coffee, as well as stocking in local outlets across the country.
We export green coffee to markets that want to do the value addition themselves. We also value add in the country, which we believe is significant in ensuring that the value stays in the country. We roast the coffee and package it, sell it in supermarkets, hotels, restaurants, cafes. The uptake has been great. It has also elevated the trade of Kenyan coffee.
Mbula says the 10 years of Utake Coffee's existence have seen immense growth, and now she looks forward to expanding and becoming a leading player in the coffee industry.
We have grown significantly and we would want to expand. We are also looking at attaining or acquiring markets different from the ones we are currently servicing. Last but not least, we want to see more people trained, because the more people who understand coffee, the bigger the market will be.
Edward Choya, Made in Kenya, Citizen TV.
Business News, brought to you by Safaricom Business.
With Lipa na M-Pesa, kumanage payments ni kwa rahisi. Join Safaricom Business today and power your progress.
All right, Emmanuel Ndungu is up next with the sporting action in just a short while.
Welcome back to the program. My name is Emmanuel Ndungu. Let's get into the sports news now. Defending champions Police FC are now 11 points behind leaders Gor Mahia after a disappointing 1-1 draw against relegation-threatened Bidco United in the only league match played on Monday afternoon. Needing a win to close the gap with the teams at the top, Police were pegged back by Victor Kenyili's goal 4 minutes from time. Bidco FC then parked the bus with a huge upset on the horizon. Police FC equalised in stoppage time with a goal by new signing Togolese Yves Kuitiama. Police have collected only 7 points out of a possible 18 from 6 matches in 2026.
Hawaamini kilichotokea. Touch moja tu yake Victor Kunyili yeshitushe. Bango lake pale Beatrice Oganga kumaliza za leo. Kuitiama! Bado mpaka Kuitiama afunge. Bado mjaona. Alicheza Baraka Badi ya Dage.
Moving on, teenager Cherono Kip-Korir showed class at the NCBA Golf Series after winning her third overall Gross Lady title at the Royal Nairobi Golf Club as the 2026 season officially got underway. Handicap 3 Kip-Korir, who won the same category during the club's 2021 and 2025 qualifying legs, returned a score of 8 over par 80 to claim top honours in the ladies' gross category, continuing her impressive dominance in the series. In the men's category, Tony Tugay emerged as the overall gross men's winner after carding a solid 73 off handicap 8. James Kemenchu finished as the gross men's runner-up with a score of 75, while Cherise Washira secured the gross lady runner-up position on 82. The Royal Nairobi qualifier attracted 262 golfers, all competing in the Stableford format across multiple divisions as they sought qualification slots for the 2026 NCBA Golf Series Grand Finale.
Human interaction. This enables everyone to come together and make new connections as well as rekindle old ones and talk about, what it is that's going on in their life.
Today my round was not so good. I struggled finding my swing. The course is in really good condition. I really enjoyed playing it, and my group was so much fun. They kept the vibes up, my mood up and everything.